Hello dear students of class 8, this is Priyanka Upadhyay, your physics teacher, and today we are going to learn our third chapter, that is force and pressure. Okay, so basically what is force? See here, force is push or pull on an object. See here, force is the push or pull on an object. For example, if an object has to be moved, it has to be pulled or pushed. The SI unit of force is Newton. See here, this man is pushing the car. The hockey player is pushing the ball. Footballers are pushing the ball. Here in this picture, a man is pulling the load. A man is pulling the cart. Sorry, um, horse is pulling the cart. Here, some students are playing and they are pulling. So, force is basically push or pull on an object. And here, the unit of force is Newton. In SI system, the unit of force is Newton, and in CGS system, the unit of force is dyne. 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to 5 dyne. So next we have types of forces. So we have contact forces and non-contact forces. When a body is acted upon by a force such that it moves in straight line is called translational motion. Here, when you apply force, what happens? The body moves, otherwise body stops, otherwise the shape and size of the bodies will change. Here, when a body is acted upon by force such that it moves in a straight line, it is called translational motion. When a body is given some force, when some force is acting on a body, what happens? It moves in a straight line, and that time there will be a production of motion, and that kind of motion is known as translational motion. Okay, so when a body is fixed at one point and it is pushed, then the body turns or rotate about the fixed point. What you do, just take a pen and just fix it at one end. Okay, just hold it at one end. Now apply force. What happens? The pen starts to move in a circular path. So this is called rotational motion. When a body is fixed at one point and it is pushed, then the body turns or rotates about the fixed point. This kind of motion is called rotational motion. See here, your door is fixed at the hinges. About the hinges, if you turn the door, what happens? The door rotates around the hinges. So this is nothing but rotational motion. This turning effect is due to the moment of force. There is a force called moment of force. Due to the moment of force, what is happening? Turning effect is happening. So what is moment of force? Actually, the moment of force is the cause that produces turning effect in the body about the axis when force applied on it. We will take door as example itself. Okay, hinge is the axis. Okay, so what we will do, we will apply force at one end of the door. Okay, at a larger distance at one end of the door. Okay, so what happens? The door starts to rotate. Moment of force is the cause that produces turning effect. So that turning effect in the door is produced due to moment of force. Okay, so when force is applied on the handles of the door, what happens? The door rotates about the hinges, about the fixed axis, and this causes due to moment of force. Next one, moment of force is given by force into perpendicular distance. So it is your, think that it is your pen, and one point, on one point you have holded it. So sorry just apply force on the another end. So what happens? The pen starts to rotate about the fixed point. Okay, so this is known as moment of force. This is caused due to moment of force, and moment of force is given by force into perpendicular distance. So this is the fixed point, and this is the distance between the applied force and the fixed point. So what happens when you apply force here? This body starts to rotate. Okay, this body starts to rotate. Next, moment of force is given by force into perpendicular distance, that is force into distance between the fixed point and the force. And the unit of moment of force, the unit of force is Newton and unit of distance is meter. Therefore unit of moment of force is Newton meter in SI units. In CGS unit, the unit of moment of force is dyne centimeter. Okay, so 1 Newton meter is equal to 10 raised to 5 dyne into 10 raised to 2 centimeter. Therefore 1 Newton meter is equal to 10 raised to 7 dyne centimeter. Okay, so where do we observe such turning effect in our daily life? When the driver of a vehicle turns the steering wheel. While turning the steering wheel, what happens? It is a turning effect and it is caused due to moment of force. When grinding stone is used with its handle near the rim of circular stone. Okay, so grinding stone is used with its handle near the rim of circular stone. So here you see moment of force. When one uses the bicycle pedal to turn its wheel. See here, you are using bicycle pedal, you are applying force on the bicycle pedal and that is transferred to the rear wheel and rear wheel starts to rotate. When one opens a hinged window or door. When you open hinged window or door, what happens? You observe a moment of force. Okay, turning effect. And that turning effect is due to moment of force. Next one, when one uses a spanner to loosen a nut. You are using a spanner, it means what happens? You are rotating the nut. Okay, so this is turning effect, nothing but it is caused due to moment of force. Next one, factors affecting turning effect. See here, moment of force depends upon force and perpendicular distance. So the factors which are affecting the turning effect are: first one, the distance between the fixed point or axis of the body and the point where the force is applied. So distance between the fixed point and the point where the force applied, it depends upon the distance. As the distance increases, what happens? Moment of force increases. Second one, magnitude of force. See here, moment of force depends upon force into perpendicular distance. Now we know that as the distance increases, moment of force increases. Here also, as the force increases, moment of force increases. Okay, so there are two factors which are affecting turning effect. One is the perpendicular distance and second one is the magnitude, the amount of force which you are applying. Next one, what is pressure? Okay, pressure is defined as force per unit area. See here, uh, just by using your finger, what you do, just apply some pressure on your palm. Apply some force on your palm. So you feel some kind of force acting on the palm at that point. So that is nothing but pressure. So pressure is nothing but force per unit area. Per unit area, whatever the amount of force is acting, that is known as pressure. Okay, so pressure is equal to force divided by area. So unit is Newton meter square because the unit of pressure, sorry, unit of force is Newton and unit of area is meter square. Therefore unit of pressure is Newton meter square. Pascal is also unit of pressure. It is named after the French scientist Blaise Pascal. Okay, so here pressure depends upon two factors. Force acting. The greater the force, the greater will be the pressure. As the here, pressure is equal to force by area. As the force increases, pressure increases. Pressure is directly proportional to force. So as the force increases, pressure increases. And pressure is inversely proportional to area. Okay, so here what happens, as the area increases, pressure decreases, or as the area decreases, pressure increases. Second one is area of surface. The greater the area, the lesser is the pressure. Pressure increases as surface area decreases, or pressure decreases as surface area increases. Okay, next one, here we will take the example. For a solid block resting on the floor, the pressure acting on the floor is highest when the block is resting on its smaller surface. See here we have surfaces. This block we have. So this one is the larger surface. So biggest area, smallest pressure. Biggest area is on the floor, therefore smallest force will be, smallest pressure will be acting. In the first diagram, the smallest area, therefore highest pressure will be acting. That is, more pressure will be acting. It means as the area increases, pressure decreases. As the area decreases, pressure increases. Okay, so where do we find this applications of high pressure in our daily life? See here, we can work more efficiently with the sharp knife than the blunt knife, because in sharp knife the area is small, therefore pressure will be high. Even if you apply small amount of pressure, what happens, pressure will become high. Needle, okay, nails, needles and pins have very sharp ends with very small surface areas. When a force is applied to the head of the nail, the pressure will drive its sharp end into a piece of wood easily. If the nail is not sharp, what happens? It will become difficult to push it into the wall. Okay, next one. The studs on football boot have only small area of contact with the ground. The pressure under the studs is high enough for them to sink into the ground, which gives extra grip. So when pressure when pressure when area decreases, what happens? Pressure increases. That is the reason the football boots are made in such a way that it gives us the extra grip with the extra pressure. Next one, skis have a large area to reduce the pressure on the snow so that they do not sink in too far. See here, it is large area. Large area will be provided so that pressure will be, when the area is large, what happens? Pressure will be low so that they do not sink too far. Next one, a tractor moving on soft ground has wide tires to reduce the pressure on the ground so that they will not sink into the ground. See what happens, as the uh, just a minute, as the wheels of the tractor. Okay, so what happens if the area decreases, what happens? The pressure will increase. So that is the reason, to reduce the pressure, the wheels are made bigger. Next one, a wide shoulder pad of heavy bag will reduce the pressure exerted on the shoulder of the person carrying the bag. See here, it is a shoulder pad. So as the shoulder pad becomes larger, the pressure on the shoulder will become smaller. Okay, so next in this chapter we are going to learn about the pressure in liquids. See here, do liquids also exert pressure? So my answer is yes, liquids also exert pressure. So what is pressure in liquid? A liquid in a container exerts pressure because of its weight. See here, liquid has some weight, so that is the reason it exerts some pressure on the container. Okay, so for example, if you try to put your finger over the end of a tap when it is turned on, you can feel the pressure of water in the pipe. So just hold your finger when the tap is turned on, you feel some kind of pressure, and that pressure is nothing but pressure exerted by water. Next one. Okay, just a minute. So these are the following characteristics of liquid pressure. These are also called the laws of liquid pressure. So the first thing is water pressure increases with depth. See here in this container you can see there are three holes are there. Okay, so as the depth increases, pressure also increases. That is the reason when pressure increases, the water goes to the longer level, higher level. See, as the pressure decreases, means as the height decreases, pressure also decreases. As the height increases, pressure increases. The deeper into the liquid you go, the greater the weight of the liquid above the above and the higher the pressure. See here, sea divers as they go down, okay, as they go down in the sea, they use some special kinds of suits because the atmospheric pressure and also the pressure exerted by liquid on them will be more as they go down. So that is the reason the first law is water pressure increases with depth. As the depth of the liquid increases from the free surface, pressure also increases. Second one, pressure at a point inside a liquid increases with increase in the density. Okay, so there are, we'll consider three kinds of liquid. First one is water, second one is glycerine, and third one is alcohol. So, in the same level, what we will do? In the same level, we will dip the funnel. So when we dip the funnel at the same level in all three containers, we will just check out the pressure. So as the pressure increases, okay, before going to that, I need to explain you something. So this is a manometer. This is U-shaped manometer. Okay. So what happens when you add colored liquid or mercury in this? Okay. When there is no pressure acting on the liquid, the level of liquid in both the pipes will be same, but as the pressure increases from one side, okay, there will be a difference in the level of the liquid. So this is nothing but manometer. Okay, so now what we'll do, we have arranged a pressure tube for this, okay, pressure funnel for this, so it gives the pressure to the manometer. So here water is there, glycerine is here, and here alcohol is there. So what we will do, first we will dip all three funnels to the same level and we will check out the pressure. Okay. Inserting the funnel into the same depth, we will notice that the pressure in the beaker containing glycerine is maximum and in alcohol it is minimum. We know that density of glycerine is greater than that of water and density of water is greater than that of alcohol. Hence, pressure increases with the increase in the density of the liquid at a given depth. In these three liquid, glycerine is having highest density. So that is the reason this column has raised to more extent compared to these two manometers. Okay, so next comes water and thereafter next comes alcohol. So it indicates that pressure at a point inside a liquid increases with increase in the density. Third one, a liquid exerts pressure equally in all direction at a point. So what you do, just take a bottle and at the same horizontal plane, what you do, you just uh, make some holes and what you just pour water into the bottle and the water comes out from the bottle with the same pressure. So it by this you can understand that a liquid exert pressure equally in all directions at a point. If you consider at a point, okay, at this point it exerts equal pressure in all directions. Next one. A pressure exerted by a liquid at different points in the same horizontal level is same. This one is also same. So as the pressure exerted by a liquid at different points in a horizontal plane, if you make some holes for the bottle, again it is going to give you the pressure which is same. It means pressure exerted by a liquid at different points in the same horizontal level is same. Again you can see that water comes from all the holes with the same pressure. Okay students, the last point about liquids is liquid seeks its own level. So here, take an apparatus in which number of vessels are interconnected as shown in this diagram. Okay, so what we will do, we will pour some colored liquid into the funnel. So irrespective of the shapes and size, what happens is liquid occupies the sea level. You can see it, irrespective of the shapes and size, liquid occupy the same level. So this is nothing but liquid seeks its own level. So next one comes Pascal's law. Okay. So liquids do not have any rigid shape. Pressure of a liquid is transmitted equally in all directions. This property was first demonstrated by Blaise Pascal and is called Pascal's law. According to the Pascal's law, pressure exerted anywhere in an enclosed, incompressible fluid is transmitted equally and undiminished in all directions throughout the liquid. See here, this is a enclosed incompressible fluid. Okay, so is transmitted equally and undiminished in all direction throughout the fluid. Throughout the fluid, what is happening with the same pressure, the liquid is coming out. So this is nothing but Pascal's law. When you apply external force, the liquid from this container, okay, what happens? Comes out with the same pressure. This is nothing but Pascal's law. Pressure applied on a point of liquid transmits equally in all direction. Even if you apply pressure at one point with the equal pressure, what happens? The liquid comes out. Okay, so the pressure exerted by liquid column of height h and liquid of density rho is calculated as pressure is equal to rho into g into h. Rho is the density of the particular liquid, g is acceleration due to gravity, and h is the height of the column. So factors which are affecting the pressure in liquid. Okay, so first one is, as we know that pressure is equal to rho into g into h. So here h is there, that is height of the liquid, or we can say that the depth of the liquid. The deeper the liquid, the higher is the pressure. As we go down, as we have seen in the first law, as liquid pressure increases with the depth. So the deeper the liquid, the higher is the pressure. Second one, density of liquid. The more the density of the liquid, the higher the pressure at a particular depth. At particular depth, if the density of a liquid is greater, therefore the pressure will also be greater. And third point is pressure depends directly on acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so next one is Boyle's law. Okay, pressure exerted by a gas. See here, the gas molecules are constantly in rapid and random motion. In course of their random motion, the molecules collide with each other and the walls of the container. Collision of gas molecules with the walls of the container create pressure in the container. If the collision increases, the pressure also increases. Here, the gas molecules in a container, what happens? They start to collide. When they start to collide, the pressure inside the container increases. And that is compression and expansion of gas. And this law, that is pressure of a fixed mass of a gas at constant temperature is inversely proportional to volume of gas, and this is known as Boyle's law. See, if the temperature of a given gas sample remains unchanged, it means the temperature will be constant. So in a container, what happens? If the pressure increases, then volume decreases. Here, the pressure of a fixed mass of a gas. We will take pressure of fixed mass of gas at constant temperature, and it is inversely proportional to volume of the gas. This is nothing but Boyle's law. Okay, so mathematical expression is PV is equal to constant. Okay, so PV is equal to constant. That is nothing but pressure is directly proportional to 1 upon V. So pressure into volume is equal to some constant. In place of that proportionality sign, we have to write something. So that is the constant. Okay, so here P is the pressure of the gas, and V is the volume of the gas, and K is the constant. Depends on the units of P and V, the temperature and the amount of gas. Okay, see here, as the temperature, sorry, as the pressure increases in the container, it means volume of the gas is volume of the gas decreases. As the volume of the gas increases, okay, so then pressure decreases. The pressure and volume of a sample of gas at constant temperature are inversely proportional to each other. When something is inversely proportional, when some of the things are inversely proportional to each other, what happens? If one increases, another one decreases. So next one, based upon the kinetic theory, we will explain Boyle's law. See, how does kinetic molecular theory explains Boyle's law? Gas molecules are in constant and they are in random motion. Gas pressure is the result of molecular colliding with the walls of the container. When they are in random motion, they go and collide with the walls of the container. When they go and collide with the walls of the container, what happens? Pressure of the container becomes more. So as the pressure of the container increases, the volume of the container decreases. See, as the volume of a container becomes smaller, the collisions over a particular area of the container of the wall increases, and the gas pressure also increases. So this is about the kinetic theory of Boyle's law. Okay, so next one, this is the relation, this is the graph which shows the relation between pressure and volume. Here, graph of P against V. Okay, so as the pressure increases, what happens? Volume decreases. Graph of P against 1 upon V if we take. So it gives a straight line passing through the origin. Next one comes atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is the pressure of air around us. See here, the gaseous envelope surrounding the earth is called atmosphere. The pressure exerted by the atmosphere is called atmospheric pressure. With the increase in the height from the earth's surface, the density of the air decreases. It is found that the density of the air above 300 km is negligibly small. Hence, we take the height of atmosphere at approximately 300 km. The measured value of atmospheric pressure on the surface of the earth is about 10 raised to 5 newtons per meter square. Okay, so here you can see that atmospheric pressure, it is the pressure of the air around us. It is due to the weight of the air. The weight of an air column of a height of the atmosphere and the area 10 into 10 centimeter is large as 1000 kg. Okay, so then why do we not get crushed under this amount of pressure? It is because the pressure exerted by the fluid in our body is equal to the opposite to the atmospheric pressure. So it means our body pressure is also there, our blood pressure is also there. Due to that reason, what is happening? We are not going to crash because of the atmospheric pressure which is acting on us. Our body pressure maintains the atmospheric pressure. So to measure atmospheric pressure, we have some instruments. So those are simple mercury barometer and 14's barometer. So before that, there is an experiment given in your textbook on page number 30. So that is air exerts pressure in all directions. See here, in atmosphere, air is there. So that air is going to apply pressure on the surfaces, pressure on the objects. So here we will study that one. See here, boil some water in a thin-walled tin can with its mouth open. The steam will drive out air. Now cork the can tightly. Remove it from the fire and cool the can by pouring cold water over it. The stem condenses into water, leaving a partial vacuum in the can. So what happens to the can is the can get crushed by the pressure of the air outside the figure. It indicates that the pressure inside the can is lesser than that of atmospheric pressure. So that is the reason what happens, the can get crushed. Okay. So as I said, there are some instruments to measure atmospheric pressure. First one is simple barometer, mercury barometer. So please go through this video, my dear children.
Students, barometer is used to measure the atmospheric pressure. Let us study the construction of a barometer. First, take a capillary tube of about 100 centimeter. Its one end is closed and the other end is open. A funnel is fitted in the open mouth and very dry and pure mercury is filled in it. After filling mercury in the capillary tube, it is put in an inverted position in a trough containing mercury. The open end of the tube is closed with the thumb and the end is dipped in the mercury trough. Students, the thumb is removed very carefully so that no air passes in the capillary tube. The tube is supported with the help of stand and a graduated scale is put parallel to it. After some time, the level of mercury begins to fall and becomes stationary. The height of the mercury column is measured from the surface of mercury in the trough. Students, this height is 760 millimeter or 76 centimeter. Therefore, it is also called 760 millimeter mercury. That is 760 millimeter height of mercury column at sea level. As the mercury falls, it leaves a blank space above it. This space is called Torricellian vacuum, since it was identified by Torricelli. As the altitude increases, air pressure decreases. As the air pressure decreases, the mercury column in the capillary tube begins to fall. Thus, mercury barometer is also used in finding the altitude or height of a mountain. In aeroplanes, barometers without mercury are used to measure the altitude gained by the plane. Such a barometer is called aneroid barometer. Aneroid barometer does not contain liquid or mercury.
This antique-looking instrument is a barometer, specifically a 14 barometer. It measures atmospheric pressure and can be used to predict weather changes. This long tube, highlighted in red, has mercury in it. The top of the tube is sealed and the bottom end is submerged in a pool of mercury. Air molecules constantly collide with the surface of this pool of mercury with a downward force. This leaves the mercury with nowhere to go but up the tube. If the atmospheric pressure increases, the surface of the pool of mercury experiences a greater force, and the height of the mercury in the tube increases. If atmospheric pressure decreases, as it does right before a storm, then the mercury level in the tube drops. Atmospheric pressure measurements are made by carefully measuring the height of the mercury in the tube. To make a measurement, the ruler used to gauge the height must be calibrated. By turning this knob at the bottom of the device, the surface of the mercury is adjusted so that it is barely touching this pointer. Once that is set, readings can be made using gradations on a brass scale. The first three significant figures are read directly from the brass scale: 645 torr. An additional digit can be determined using a vernier scale. The vernier cursor is adjusted so that it is level with the mercury meniscus. The tenths place digit is determined by the pair of lines that match up most closely. Right now, the reading is giving us 645.4 torr. Our measurement isn't right just yet. Several factors cause an offset to the reading. For one, mercury slightly expands as temperature increases. That changes the height of mercury we measure, causing an error in our readings. The same is true for brass. That's why there's a thermometer right on the front of the apparatus. This temperature should be read as soon as approaching the device, since your body heat could change the reading. A less obvious problem is that gravity is not uniform across the Earth's surface. It changes slightly depending on your altitude and latitude. Now let's do the math to account for these problems. Using this equation, we can correct the measured pressure of 645.4 torr for the systematic errors we've been discussing. The result of this calculation is a corrected pressure of 642.7 torr. Although barometers have been used for centuries, today the toxicity of mercury has caused some countries to legislate a halt to production of mercury barometers. High-quality pressure measurements are now achieved using sophisticated electronic circuits. However, a simple circuit like the one in my cell phone can use electrical components to measure pressure as well. At the time the barometer readings were taken for this video, my phone had a pressure reading of 642.5 torr. That's within 0.03% of the corrected barometer reading. Not too bad for such a small device, and my phone doesn't even have to have a tube of mercury.